Let's have a look at the starting grid for this, the third race of the season. Janis Fitcher on pole position. Simon Connor Prim alongside him, but will be nervous about that car. Denis Bulatov and Baptiste Moulin. What a great way to make a start in the ADAC GT Masters. Simon Birch, what can he do from there? Alan Valente alongside him for company. Max Rice and Jonathan Cecotto make it an all Ford Mustang row 4. Sandro Holzem and Julian Hanses line up on row 5, and on row 6 Tim Zimmerman and Emil Yerdrum with that 10-place grid drop. And then on the back row of the grid, Salman Ovega and Alexander Schwarzer line up alongside each other. They are side by side. We are ready to go racing in Zandvoort for race 3 of the season. ADAC GT Masters is go. Janis Fitcher, great run into the first corner. You can see Simon Connor Prim wobbling under braking, just trying to keep that car together. Had so much bad luck at the Lausitz Rings. Wants to get the championship challenge back on track. We'll be hoping that fuel pump issue does not reoccur. And up high goes Denis Bulatov, a very different line into turn 3. Doesn't advantage him, it just leaves him vulnerable to the cars behind. 5 minutes into the race, they will have a different leg pit stop. Let's have another look at the start here. Janis Fitcher was well ahead when they crossed the line. Maybe Simon Connor Prim was just holding back a little, but then he had a look on the outside, but Fitcher, no problems for Simon Connor Prim at the moment. Baptiste Moulin up into third place. Simon Birch already pushing forwards, already looking to make places up on this opening lap of the race. There is Janis Fitcher, and there is Simon Birch now putting his challenge onto Baptiste Moulin in third place. Moulin doing what he can to defend. Remember, this is his debut in the ADAC GT Masters. He shuts the door on Simon Birch, we'll call him, and Denis Bulatov just behind them after that moment in turn 3. Alan Valente is there as well. Keep an eye on Max Rice in the Mustang. He was looking very dialed in at the Lausitz Ring. There is the second of the Pro-Am pairings, Alexander Schwarzer at the moment. Now a challenge, and that is Max Rice, I think that was, who moves to the outside of Alan Valente into turn 1. He ducked to the inside, then to the outside, but he's just left himself vulnerable to Sandro Holzem in the BMW, who rushes forward to fill the gap. There are no place changes on this lap. Tim Zimmerman there as well. Emil Yerdrum will be very, very keen to make up from the disappointment that he picking up that 10-place grid drop as we look back at Sandro Holzem in another of the mighty Mustangs. And there is Salman Ovega, 3 Mustangs in this race. Jonathan Cecotto had a lively time in quali this morning. You can see Bulatov in the blue Audi. Here's further back, Julian Hanses, who's worked his way from further back on the grid. The 2 Pro-Am drivers towards the back, they are indicated by the green boxes around their number.
In the Mercedes, fastest lap so far, 136.3, also 136.3, just over half a tenth slower.
We've got a problem. That's the leader, Janis Fitcher. So we were looking at second place, wondering about reliability, but it's the race leader, Janis Fitcher, clearly has a problem. The SR Motorsport by Schnitzerland Mercedes AMG has come to a stop on the exit of turn 12, just past the chicane. Now, if he can't get that moving, this is almost certainly going to bring out either a safety car or at the very least a full course yellow. You can see him looking down, trying to get the thing started, but it looks like it's just lost power. And Simon Connor Prim had to take a void.
And now, how close can he get on the way into the braking zone at Tarzan? He starts to get sucked into the slipstream. The Porsche defends, so he's only got one chance. That's to go around the outside here. Brave stuff from Holzem. If he can stay around the outside, he might eventually get the inside at turn 3, but he can't quite do it. And Simon Birch there positioning the car beautifully to keep the Porsche ahead.
So he lines him up once again, now up onto the 19-degree banking of turn 3. It's like the wall of death around there. Tim Zimmerman there, and now he gets a run out of turn 3 into turn 4 and just breezes in front. The power of that BMW up into second place for Sandro Holzem, his best ever finish.
Holzem here last year. This is a replay. The exit from turn 3, that was there. Birch just pushing a bit too hard and just clipping a wheel over the curbs onto the grass and the grass is mud because of all the rain that we had during the morning, this morning during qualifying and in the lead up to this race. This is what it looks like to go through that banking at turn 3. That's what it looks like to go a bit too wide on the exit. Big thud as he went over the curb. And then Schwarzer is not too far back from him, about 5 seconds down the road. So the number 4 Porsche would move up the order as well. And the pair of them, after the pit stop, should be hovering around somewhere around 3rd or 4th place as it stands. But the longer, of course, it goes on, the further away potentially other drivers are going to get. But
and they'll want to keep him out, I expect. Julian Hanses has now caught up with Max Rice. So this is for 5th place. And the BMW once again looking mighty. The flashing of the lights, anything to get Max Rice to look at the mirror at the very point he's meant to be hitting his braking spot. Right into the pits comes Tim Zimmerman, the first to pull the pin. Leighton Fury will be limbering up in the pit lane, ready to take over the gold and black BMW. It looks like Samuel Vega, a fairly difficult race for him. Finn Wiebelhaus will be in the pits waiting for him as well. You can see the clock ticking down to remind you all cars bar 2 from pit entry to pit exit, 85 seconds is the minimum pit stop time. They'll want to get to the pit exit at about the time the clock strikes 0, but they must not get there before. They cannot decelerate in the pit lane. So it's all about leaving the pit box at exactly the right time. Vega vacates the seat. Wiebelhaus jumps in. Vega helps him to get buckled up. There is a maximum of 2 mechanics who may work on the car while it's stopped in the pits. But with that pit time, there's no major rush. They've got plenty of time to get one in, to get the other, well, one out, the other in. They take the seat insert with them because each driver is of a different build. So into the car comes the next driver, the Schnitzelam car that had that problem, Moritz Viskersen, who will be taking over the number 21 car from Janis Fitcher, and they will be thinking about what might have been. Right, one of the Pro-Ams is in. Alexander Schwarzer from 13th place. He is going to be stationary, in theory, for 15 seconds less.
Just how much that Porsche is going to come up the order now with that much shorter pit stop, but also particularly the number 8 Liqui Moly Team Exeter car, which is into the pits now. So that could come out around about 4th place, looking at the gaps before the pit stop opened. Gerdrum will get out of the car and the Norwegian will be replaced by Jonas Karklis, the Lithuanian. So
there is Finn Wiebelhaus in the other of the Mustangs. But right, looking at the gap.
And getting ever closer, and the South African, former BMW M2 Cup champion, has a look at the chicane. Can't quite get through though at the Hans Ernst corner. So on the exit to the turn now, heading up towards turn 13, about 180 kilometers an hour, slow down to 130, 3rd gear through here.
Let's have another look at a replay here. At one point, maybe he even had a nose in front just briefly, but Juliana Holzem coming back, still holding on to that 2nd place. But Leighton Fury, such a talented driver, such a very, very quick drivers, and of course Jordan Pepper as well, another South African pilot. But now Leighton Fury taking a tighter line into the bank into turn 3. It's a drag race out of 3, but still Juliana Holzem holding on to that position. I'm impressed he came back from that. He carried a fair amount of momentum around the top of the banking.
Yeah. Oh, that's another issue for the Mercedes. Exactly the same. Different driver, same drama for the Schnitzelam Mercedes. This time it's Viskersen trying to fire it back up. So the technical gremlin has bit again, and that car is stranded just at turn 2 at the moment, and off the side of the track, in a precarious position. It does, yeah. Fury looks slightly the quicker of the two, doesn't he? But cannot quite find a way through here. Shows his nose again all the way into turn 10. He's almost pushing Olsen through the corner. Come on, he says. Get out of my way. I want to go for 2nd place here. Can he find a way through at the chicane? He's going to have a go here, but the inside line is going to be covered, so he's going to have to go the outside line here. Fury might do this on the way to the left-hander. On the gravel he goes through. Fantastic. Runs wide though. Olsen tries to come back at him, but the right-hander that's coming up should favour the South African in the FK Performance BMW. This is what it looks like from Eduardo Cosseteng's BMW party, all together 2nd, 3rd and 4th in GT3. Here's a replay, Brian. Look at this for commitment as he goes over the curb. A full course yellow is starting in 10 seconds time.
Wow, it's like BMW M4 Cup, isn't it? Eduardo Cosseteng thought he might benefit from that. Right, here we go. Full course yellow. So everybody needs to decelerate down to 80 kilometers an hour. In theory, the gaps should stay the same, but they never do because everybody accelerates and decelerates at different times. Full course yellow is out, so that'll be to move the number 21 car of Moritz Viskersen. We will see what happens to the gap. It was 9.8 seconds when they crossed the line. It's Finn Zulauf's decision when he goes. He must not catch the safety car. They cannot overtake until they reach the start-finish line, but Zulauf leaving it quite late, up into 13. Any moment now, he's going to hit the accelerator. Furry will be laser-sharp, focused on the Lamborghini in front, ready to jump as soon as he's onto the power, ready to pull alongside and make a move as they cross the start-finish line. Now, Zulauf is onto the power. There go. He's opened up a bit of a gap on Leighton Fury. Now along past the pits they come. Cars weaving to generate heat into the tires. Juliana Holzem is one of them into turn one. Zulauf has it covered off for the time being. Leighton Fury there as well.
Whacks the curb and then maybe a bit of contact. Yes, contact with the Porsche of Fact, who has stopped out on the exit to the chicane. So he's got the engine running, but it's going nowhere. He's lost gears, hasn't he? So that was maybe as a result of some contact, or maybe it started to go anyway. But here they are on top. And Finn Wiebelhaus was on a mission, wasn't he, on that last couple of laps of the race. That was him charging past one Mustang. Dennis Fetzer then making contact with the front left corner of Alex Fack's car that then immediately stopped. So he retired from the race. And Wiebelhaus then went and got past the other Mustang of Callas to get up to 5th place. So in the end, Ovega and Wiebelhaus from near the back of the grid have ended up outscoring the championship leaders by a couple of points, because the Razzoon at 0.3 of a second goes down to almost nothing on the way out of turn one. On the way into turn three, the BMW is going to try and take the high line here, but just about hanging on to the lead. But now is the Lamborghini of Finn Zulauf.
Finn Zulauf going high onto turn three, trying to make the Lamborghini as wide as he can. He just needs to hold on for what remains of this lap. But Leighton Fury has a sniff of a first ever win in ADAC GT Masters. He is looking deadly in that BMW. He has a little look to the outside into turn 7. Has Finn Zulauf done enough to fend off Leighton Fury? Eduardo Kozatec makes contact with Juliana Holzem. Holzem picks it all up. Kozatec backs out of it, allows him to regather.
He lost another one on the last lap of the race. I reckon the gap between the top two in the championship will be down to 10 points.
And look at this. This was Eduardo Kozatec and Holzem, and I think Kozatec could probably have powered through, but he backed out of it. He's seen that he had unsettled it. He didn't want to pick up a penalty. This is what it looked like on board with Eduardo Kozatec for FK Performance. He makes that contact and then just backs out of it, allows Juliana Holzem time to recover. Good fair driving from Eduardo Kozatec, but out of turn 40 across the line. It's got to be a win at last for Finn Zulauf and Simon Conner-Brim. Leighton Fury threw everything at it, including the kitchen sink, but he and Tim Zimmerman having to settle for second place on this occasion. The Holzem twins taking the last of the podium positions. What a great last couple of laps. Pick it all up again in the Schubert Motorsport BMW, but look at this, the first ever win after a disastrous time at the Lausitz Ring. The release of emotion in Power Motorsport. Everything thrown at them, including a safety car at the end, but it was a win. Subject to confirmation, these results, with Tim Zimmerman, Leighton Fury second. Right, Eric Weijers, Chief Sporting Officer at Circuit Zandvoort, presenting the trophy to the winners. Lovely trophies with the outline of the circuit.
Michael Blaufuß, Motorsports Director Pirelli Germany, für die Zweitplatzierten.
So, Michael Blaufuß from Pirelli do a fabulous job supporting everything ADAC and presenting the second place trophies. And another name that we see a lot of, Liquimoli, Marco Esser, marketing director. Another Liquimoli, another sponsor of so much that goes on under the ADAC banner, presenting the third place trophies.